Welcome to this video on Storypoints. You can download the exercise workbook to follow along in your own copy of Tableau. Storypoints let you create compelling, interactive, data-driven stories. Stories consist of specific views or dashboards in sequential progression. For example, letting the audience walk through a discovery you made as you were analyzing data. Let's see what that means. This workbook already has several visualizations and a dashboard built out. Storypoints allow us to present them to communicate the insight we want to share. To create a new story, click the Story tab at the bottom. We can size the story so it best fits our dimensions. Just like when building a dashboard, our previously created pieces of content are arranged here on the left. Let's click and drag the first sheet out into the canvas. We can give this point a caption by clicking in the Navigator box. If the caption ever doesn't fit, we can always adjust the size of the Navigator. If we prefer to use simple numbers or dots instead of a caption, click the Layout tab in the left-hand pane, and there we can choose between captions, numbers, and dots. This visualization is still fully interactive. And we can even click through the filter. Did you notice that when we changed the state of the viz by filtering, a toolbar appeared above the Navigator? A major benefit of Storypoints is the ability to preserve a specific state of a given visualization. Things like filtering or highlighting. Clicking the Update icon preserves our modifications for this point, essentially taking a snapshot of the filter selection we made. Alternatively, we could revert by clicking the Undo icon. When a change to a point is made, we're also presented with the option to save as a new point. It's the same underlying visualization, but with that filter selection saved as the default. Let's expand our story. To keep track of what sheets have already been used, this blue check indicates that the viz has already been added to the story. There are a lot of ways to add additional points. Let's go through some of the options. First, we can click the blank button, then drag out the content we want. If we want to call out something specific, such as the cost of critical orders, we can highlight it and update the point. Double-clicking a piece of content also brings it out into the story. As a note, if we ever bring out the wrong thing, simply dragging out a different sheet will replace it. Hovering over a Navigator item also brings up the Delete button. To bring out a sheet to a specific position, we could drag it to the Navigator until we see the blue arrows, like so. Remember, if we make a change on a specific point, such as filtering or highlighting, we can use the toolbar to save as a new point. If we want to display more than one visualization on a single point, we have to bring them out as a dashboard. What happens when we bring out a dashboard? Here, because we changed the default size of our story, the dashboard doesn't look good when it's nested. To easily fix the sizing, we'll go to the underlying dashboard by clicking on the Go to Sheet icon here, and then we'll set its size to fit to story. Now back on the story, it fits perfectly, though we may need to adjust the color legend. Similarly, if it's a visualization that doesn't fit well in the story, we can go back to the sheet by clicking on the icon and changing the fit. Entire view generally works pretty well. It's worth noting that most changes to an original sheet are reflected in the story point, and changes in how a viz displays needs to be made on the underlying sheet itself. Here, we can hide the color legend and only keep some of the data. Back on the story, we see that the color legend is gone and we're only looking at that selection of data. Now that we have our basic points, what if we want the audience to know that they can interact with this map? To annotate the story, we'll simply add a description by dragging it out. This is a fully editable text box. The default background color is yellow, but that can be changed by going to the Story menu, selecting Format, and here we can control various aspects of the story's formatting, things like default shading, aspects of the title, and we can control the Navigator and the text box. Thank you for watching this Storypoints training video. We invite you to continue with the free training videos to learn more about using Tableau.